Donald Trump should be fitted for a neck brace today because of the extreme whiplash from his latest Epstein flip-flop. But the truth seekers from both sides of the House of Representatives have a different take. They are issuing a major warning saying Trump's reversal isn't random scrambling. It's a setup for his boldest trick yet. And coming up next, I have the Trump White House obstruction scheme that they are calling out. Let's begin with a CNN report that does a deep dive into the what and why of Trump's flip-flop, and then I'll have the dire warnings from a Democrat and a Republican lawmaker that sounds the alarm on the conniving from our corrupt commander-in-chief.
But in terms of what a 180 this is, it is quite a stark reversal by the president, because it was just last week that not only were they bringing Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room where they monitored the Osama bin Laden raid to try to convince her to change her vote, now the president is telling House Republicans they should vote for this when it comes up tomorrow. Of course, Jake, that is a position and a stance of the president's that came long after it was already decided this was going to be brought for a vote on Capitol Hill, against his wishes and against the efforts of the White House and the House Speaker Mike Johnson, after they kept those 218 votes and did not sway Lauren Boebert on this. And so, Jake, the question now is what is going to happen after there is expected to be a huge Republican vote for this tomorrow, something that would have been one of the first times we'd actually seen Republicans defy President Trump in large numbers since he returned to office, had he not put that position, that statement out there last night. The question, though, Jake, is what happens to it after that? Does it go to the Senate for a vote? And if it came to the president's desk, would he be willing to sign it? Earlier, Jake, he told reporters yes.
We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
Of course, Jake, it was a lot of Democrats who were mentioned in those emails and that were corresponding with Jeffrey Epstein. But Jeffrey Epstein himself, in those newly released emails we got last week, also named Donald Trump several times. And he was a member at Mar-a-Lago until he wasn't. And there are multiple photos and videos of the two of them together. So obviously, we'll be watching closely to see what does happen in the Senate after tomorrow's vote.
And now that we're up to speed, let's dive into Trump's path to avoid more Epstein damage by using the Department of Justice for misdirection and obstruction. Watch as Representative Jasmine Crockett represents all Democrats against Trump, and Thomas Massie, who for a long time was standing alone on the Republican side, exposes Trump's next move in his war on the truth.
Okay, I'm going to do it. He full of shit. Because here's the thing. So right now, what I think is going to happen, the only reason that he is switched is because obviously he has had lots of conversations. Either the Senate is not going to take it up or they don't have the votes in the Senate. One of the two. But he never plans for this to actually go forward.
Or you think this is going to get killed in the Senate?
I think that this is going to get killed some way, somehow. Or the other option is that I think they're going to do the very same thing, and not necessarily the same thing, but the very reason that the files could not be released before is because there were active cases that were taking place. All the cases have been concluded because this administration decided they didn't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. So they weren't going to investigate whatsoever. So now the files can be opened. But now he said, look into my enemies. I want you to investigate this hoax. Well, if there's open cases, then that is your excuse for legally not allowing those documents to be out.
What you're saying?
Well, I'm concerned that now he's opening a flurry of investigations, and I believe they may be trying to use those investigations as a predicate for not releasing the files. And that's my concern.
You think they'll try to block it?
Well, they will. I'm afraid they're going to try to use a provision of the law that allows you not to release these materials if they're subject of an ongoing investigation and would harm, and the release of which would harm the ongoing investigation.
So what do you think this is all about for President Trump? First,
well, it's pretty simple. For 4 months, he thought the best thing for him was to keep the files secret, and somebody convinced him that the best thing for him was to release the files. And if they're serious about it, they should release them right now.
House Democrats and Republicans rarely agree on anything, but here they are, sounding the same alarm. Donald Trump is gearing up to weaponize the DOJ to save himself from the Epstein avalanche. He will bury the files behind a wall of cover-up framed as an open investigation and stall the momentum while he continues his White House reign of corruption and chaos. Trump can maneuver to block the release of the files that he's mentioned in thousands of times, but he can't block the wave of public sentiment that he's being buried under. He said he was going to release the files, and then he said he wasn't, and then he said it's real, but only the Democrats are guilty. It remains to be seen if the House can crush Trump with the files, but meanwhile he is burying himself with his own words and taking the Republican Party down with him as the MAGA base becomes more repulsed. And when the midterms come and the Republicans lose their majority and their grip on power, a fury of justice will follow.